Hey, Maria back with another video. It's 6:10 p.m. It is July 23rd and it's Sunday evening. So the sun's getting ready to go down. And so I just wanted to come on here and make a video. I think videos are helping me, and I've been thinking about other alternative forms of therapy. As you know, as a targeted individual, it's not a good idea to seek out medical care. I've never been one who was really into that anyway, especially I would say after the mid 2000s, but there's obviously a lot of mental issues that I have. And as I've been reading about this issue, because I think the Robin Europe case that was just on there, led to a bunch of other articles that I was reading about other people who've experienced this. And most of the time when they experienced it was just one time. And then there's this group of people who followed me throughout job after job. This is definitely a form of gang stalking, but it's bringing like one issue that they want to constantly bring up over and over and over again and follow you everywhere. Bad idea. But anyway, even for people who've only experienced workplace mobbing one time at one job, a lot of times people still, the trauma is great. It's great just only having it done to you one time. Imagine having it done to you for over 20 something years. It sounds almost ridiculous. It sounds over the top, but this is my case. And of course, I've read other stories, not necessarily relating to race issues for targeted individuals, but targeted individuals for different reasons. There's all kinds of reasons where people get followed around for domestic stalking reasons, and domestic stalking from either a direct blood relative or like an ex-spouse or even boyfriend or whatever. It's just somebody, who's following you around and causing problems for you. In this case, it was a huge group of people. So, of course, I'm going to deal with, I have severe, I really do believe I have severe, depression and ability to focus at this moment. And obviously, like I've said before, I'm not a lazy person. Nobody can ever say that I'm a lazy person. I'm not. But I know in past where where they've done this before, I've put in a lot of I would go above and beyond to find a job. I'm just doing exactly what I need to do, the very basics, but I'm really not doing a whole lot because it's just too much. And like I said, there's times where I have to talk myself into actually getting online and finding and looking for work. It's an extreme trauma having to deal with that over and over and over again. And like I just mentioned, I had a job interview that ended up me being severely traumatized, that left me, in bed the very next day. Today was one of those days where I wasn't really depressed, but I'm just kind of getting agitated because, I'd like to do some more stuff outside the house. And I'm not working right now, so I can't just go out to even the 99-cent store just to do basic shopping just for fun. I have to watch money right now. And I'm cooped up in the house. And so, obviously I was thinking this morning, I should get out and go for a walk, which that was my intention. But I realized that it's not a good idea to do that after 8 o'clock in the morning because it starts to getting very hot after that. So I don't really give a shit, but my birthday, I hope this issue about Bruce and me or the singer or whoever it was, I'm not interested in this group, okay? I think I pretty much lost respect for everybody who was involved in it, and rightfully so. It's very difficult for me to think highly of somebody who absorbed so much of my time with their narcissism, and try to affect my life. This is so severe, and it's too much. It's too much. And also the fact that, when I think about my future, I understand that I'm not really excited too much about it. It's just almost like I'm going to be living and not really living. I'll have my little hobbies and stuff, but for the most part, I will never have a social life. I'm going to be affected for the rest of my life because I can't deal with an environment that toxic. The toxic environment that they've created. And it's devastating. It's extremely devastating. I wish I could start somewhere else. You know what I mean? I wish I could. But these people absorbed so much of my time with their bullshit. And so, and I know that my perps, because they're narcissistic, or they roll their eyes and they kind of belittle the things I say, but I'm the one who was affected by it. You know what I mean? And by somebody telling a big fib or whatever. So I was also thinking today about the issues, and don't get me wrong, I can interact with white people and everything like that, but we obviously know that white people do have this like intense hatred for black people, and they do not like it if you appear to be smarter than them or whatever. This is the case with Terry Collins. And I'm not saying all white people, but I would say because of this little social experiment, which I look at this as a social experiment. Actually, it's not really a social experiment. It's actually, you could look at it as one, but it's actually it's a great case study at this point, because everything that question that you could pose towards this issue has been answered, right? But we have this lady, Terry Collins, who literally wants to destroy every aspect of my life. Destroyed. Now, here's the thing. I was married to Joel, and I believe that she caused problems. Now, don't get me wrong, I later found out that Joel was one of those guys that was with his mom and all that. It was weird. Blew my mind, really weird. But still, at the same point, I believe that she put in the wheels of motion to cause problems in that relationship. Okay, because maybe she thought I should have been with Bruce, or I don't know what the deal is. Okay, but they have destroyed all of them. Now, eventually, I would have found out about my ex-husband and his mom, and I would have been grossed out and ran away anyway. Okay, but the whole thing started with these people. The whole thing started with these people. So I'm like, oh my God, like these people are destructive. Destructive. Like my blood relations are destructive. They're destructive. And you got these Collins people, they're just even like, I don't know, it's just unreal. So, I deal with somebody making me feel like I was raped, making me feel like they yanked away my income, or like a farm or something. Like if I had like a farm and somebody torched all my livestock and burned down my barn or something, that's exactly how I feel. And as I'm just sitting there like, okay, I can't believe you do this, and you have these pompous people who feel entitled to do it. It's like it's of course you're going to be traumatized, right? I'm traumatized. I'm extremely traumatized. So, and I'm by myself with this sort of trauma, right? So these videos are very important for me. But I was thinking about different forms of about going back to the white people issue. I know back in my dad's age, when he was a teenager, he was told, you don't make eye contact with white people. And I didn't understand, but I understand back in the South. Just like how this issue is with Terry being extremely racist, that in the South, they can actually kill you. They kill you, just like they'll take you out in the field and lynch you. And then, but in this case, Terry was doing it in a more covert way. This is one of the reasons why they call gang stalking as a form of a silent Holocaust, because they do it in a way where they don't have to touch you. Like there's no touch torture, basically destroying somebody's lives and making them invalid in society. Basically ostracizing them to the point of where they don't have any rights. Is what she was trying to do. But back then they would lynch you, they would kill you. And my dad was like, well, he was really leery of white people, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. I understand what he's talking about now. I understand. Also, on another level on that issue, I'm thinking, okay, white people, if they're around a person of color, they're always going to assume that you want them. Like this is a great example. Like people think just because Bruce is around, or that he got me a job or whatever, and no matter how he treats me, I'm going to love him no matter what. And he's confident and cocky, thinking that he can do that, and he's not. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Of course, I have a problem with it, because I'm smart enough to know abuse when I see it. And then of course you have stupid Terry Collins, who seems to think that she should be forgiven for the shit that she's done. She's basically, took years off my life and felt entitled to do the shit that she does. And thinks that it's not a big issue. It is a big issue. It's my life. And it's like trivialize it. But in this case, I do understand what they're talking about. Like my dad's talking about not making eye contact with white people. You do not want a white person thinking that you are interested in them. And you don't want other people thinking that you could be interested in a white person. Because if you are, you are opening yourself up to big fucking problems. Because you will not be able to get those people away from you. Seriously. Okay? And it's not a joke. Anyway, and it's important for me to say these things. It is because, like I said, these people cause the trauma, they cause this drama, they cause these issues, okay? And they left me here to deal with it by myself. Because believe me, I know when they try to like talk to me through other people, that is not comforting me at all. I don't want to have any interaction. I'm traumatized that somebody would destroy my life and then they still want to try to make contact with me, like as if you want to be in my face after you did something so horrible. You know, if I was somebody who did cause this sort of pain to another person, I would at least do the respectful thing and blow my goddamn brains out is what I would think that they would do. That's the most decent thing I think that they should do. I wish Terry Collins would go kill herself, really. But anyway, and I'm not a joke either. But seriously, I mean, this has affected me. This is one of the reasons why I make all these videos. You know, it's like I feel violated on so many levels. You know, um, it's not even funny. Also, I also want to talk about alternative forms of therapy, like what I've been doing. Obviously, I make videos, and I think that that's helpful. And I also make sure that there's certain things that I eat. I think beans have been really good for me. What I mean by beans, I'm talking about like pinto beans, kidney beans. This sort of form of protein seems to help my mind. Like I notice when my brain starts flipping out a little bit and I start eating the beans, it starts to help me focus a little bit more. But what I'm dealing with is not a joke. It's not a joke. And you know, I wish people would take things like workplace mobbing and these things. I kept warning all these people, these employers. I warned that Angelo guy. I said somebody was after me, whatever. He was thinking I was making a joke or it wasn't a big deal, or because this person's my family or these whatever. You know, do not make this mistake again. I'm telling you, don't make this mistake again. This is what domestic stalking is. You know, and you're basically begging for your life and you're just so scared, you know, and then you've got these people who are just not understanding, you know. And see, I was working over there, I think in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there, okay. And what was going on over there is still affecting me now, okay. And he could have put a stop to it. He could have made it stop when I told him that. When I passed out those flyers, when I was basically telling him, hey, this is what's going on, that stupid, hey, I don't know what you're talking about look, that dumb look on his face. You helped ruin my life. Okay? I hope you can live with that. And if he's such a big racist, he probably can live with that. And he'll go to bed and sleep just fine, you know, because you're a fucking asshole. But, and I don't care about what I say or if I hurt people's feelings or people think that I'm offended. I have every right to feel the way that I do. Every right to feel the way that I do. You know, and I could go on and on and on and on about, you know, the Bruce issue. I'd rather not. As a matter of fact, you know, I would say back in, I don't know, 2007 or so, 2007, I really started thinking, looking back on like, you know, all the people that I used to know who I'm sure got involved in this gang stalking. And I realized, you know, I really didn't want anything to do with my past. You know, I mean, I've got on Facebook when Teresa wanted me to, and after a while, when people started acting weird, which was not my fault, which I'm sure it was probably Bruce or Terry or Jennifer invading my personal contacts. There, and my sister, obviously, these people are control freaks. They always want to have everything. They want to steal my contacts. They want to take my friends. They want to do this. Hey, and it wasn't easy to convince them to do that because they're just as wicked as my family is. But still, it's like people that conspired against me, and I'm just sitting here not even knowing what's going on. You know, people making up stories. I'm just like, I can't tell you what that does to a person after knowing that you didn't do anything wrong, and people wanted to basically kill you. They wanted me dead. I don't doubt that one bit. You know. And they were also trying to force me into some sort of, maybe it's because, you know, Bruce's family could open doors and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, you know, I don't think it's a good idea to have relationships with white people, romantic relationships with white people. This is a very good reason, okay? And I wasn't even in the relationship. The relationship, as far as I was concerned, was over a long time ago, okay? But white people always think that no matter what you fucking do to them, they're always going to be liked by you. So here they are, coming around. You know? No. I think that it's very hard for them to have that wake-up call. You know? Does Karen think that I like her at this point? After she's caused me all this problems? No, of course I fucking don't. You know what I mean? And then she's gonna sit here and get all iffy about, whether she's gonna give me her will now, and all this other stuff. Bitch, you owe me all fucking the money that you have in your bank account. Let's just get real here. But anyway. And I have to say these things. I do. I have to. Now, mind you, I understand that life's unfair. And this is one of the reasons why I'm trying to figure out, the steps on how I'm going to take care of myself. What am I going to do? There's a lot on my mind right now. And I wouldn't be having to worry. I was literally begging for it. Please stop this nonsense. Stop going around town. Stop causing all these problems. It amped up. You guys are fucking murderers. That's how I look at it. Fucking murderous. Sick. I don't know if Terry Collins is getting her psychiatric care. She needs psychiatric care. She should be put in a straitjacket. I don't know what her fucking fascination is or her fucking persistence is. And look, I don't like you. I don't like your daughter. I don't like Rick. I don't like Bruce. I don't like any of those people. Just get the fuck away from me, please. You've done entirely too much damage. Too much damage. Which is sick about this whole thing is that I get the feeling that my ex-husband, Joel, is involved in this. It's just like they were trying to pretend like there's two mates you can choose from or something like that. It's what the fuck is wrong with people? I'm a woman who's trying to protect herself, to keep safe, from my abusers. And I can't believe Karen, this is a good example of why you do not let other people make those sort of life decisions for you. You probably gathered all these people from Facebook and sort of say, okay, you can help her. This is part of the network, and you'll split it out in directions, and you can give. I remember my sister Lisa telling me she could get help. She was going to help get me a job. Okay, she probably give Lisa designated something to her here, all these other people. You don't do that shit. Okay, there's one thing about being a network, but you do not do that sort of stuff because guess what? All these people hated my fucking guts, and they're going to make sure that my life's misery at work. Thank you, Karen. And you're going to sit here and try to force me into some sort of goddamn marriage? No. I'm running from these people. I can't help but say these things because I have every right to be angry. Every right. Can you give me those years back? That's what I keep thinking about more than anything. These years, the years that I missed in life, while you guys were sitting here thinking it was funny. Are you fucking sick? No, I'm not interested in reconciling or whatever. Just get out of my life. But I did throw away my yearbooks some years ago. I did. I remember throwing them away and thinking, I don't. The only thing I really remember about my past that I enjoyed, that I really found I'm fond of looking back on, are the times that I had around, or my favorite toys that I enjoyed when I was a kid, cartoons, TV shows, of course the music, stuff like that. But when it comes to these kids that I used to know, there were times where I felt like I did have some sort of affection for them. But as the time went on, it was gosh, these people are such assholes. You know what I mean? You're such an asshole. I didn't do shit. You know what I mean? And then, oh my God, I look at this and it becomes so sick. And the fact that they blotted me out on social media, this is, like I said, something happens to me, this is a murderous setup to me. Okay, when you have so much control over a person, where you set them up to where they can actually be murdered, and very few people would notice or take action because you basically have no way of standing out or making yourself known. They can cover up anything with this operation. They could do that. You know what I mean? And this is one of the reasons why I had to expose it. I had to talk out loud because what other people don't know, like the neighborhoods don't know, they don't understand what Terry Collins really is. But I'm going to talk about what she really is. She's a fucking racist person who obviously has some sort of vendetta against me for no justified reason. Just because I was a teenage girl who got ripped up with her son 8 years ago. And, but of course, nobody knows the whole story. I remember I knew, for example, my sister Lisa had her relationship with her husband, right? And I'm not going to go into what their relationship was, but you see like your sister, right? And you communicate with your sister or your brother or maybe a friend at work or whatever, and the communication is one way, okay? But when they're with their spouse or someone else, it's different. Okay, so I remember seeing my sister interact with her husband and thinking, oh, that's a side of her I never really saw. Because, I'm sitting here in another room and I can see them communicating. So it's a little bit different. That what she talks to him about is different. Facial expressions, movements, all that other stuff is completely different. You know, um, when it comes to um, my feelings of, um, these people that I used to know, I don't, I can't say that I know them. And I'm very creeped out and like disturbed by them. But that's the issue when you bring religion into it. That's what happens when religion gets brought into it. Today I was like writing up some information about religion and why I don't, why I walked away from it. Um, and I'm thinking about mainly how it causes so much, the ignorance that religion causes makes people do bad things, you know? And I'm not talking about just like Christians in general. I'm talking about all these denominations in Christianity that got involved in it. It's funny because like Jehovah's Witnesses, they say they're not a part of the world, right? They say they're not a part of the world. They want to be separate. They always looked at other Christian religions like Presbyterians and Baptists. They always called them like Babylon. They were associated with Babylon the great whore, the empire of false religion. They're not supposed to intermingle with them, but they will use anybody in this gang stalking issue to get their message across or to use in order to bully me, to be a Jehovah's Witness. Does that make any fucking sense? It only makes sense when you're dealing with people who are crazy. But anyway, anytime you see something like this, maybe next time, and I hope, because I heard, that trafficking is very common in Kern County. I hear that it is, okay? It's huge in California, but it's like, this is like the central spot of human trafficking. And I hope that maybe somebody will be recognized. Somebody who's working behind that desk will understand what's going on in the office and help somebody or make the right call, because this can destroy somebody's life. My life was destroyed. I lost many years of my life because of the selfishness of certain people. So anyway, I'm hoping that maybe one day I could save someone's life. At least it would be where this would not have been such a waste. It was a waste anyway, but at least some good would come out of it. Okay, so I think I said enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and do a few little things before I get ready for bed. But taking time out to talk to myself is like one form of therapy for me. For all TIs, stay safe.